Now I know it's becoming all trendy and cool, you know, these bowls, you know, like poke and stuff like that. This is a Henhouse bowl, so it's actually got some chicken in. And the main thing about it is you need to marinate the chicken. You don't need to do it for long. Don't do it for 2 days. Don't do it overnight. Just, you know, half an hour or whatever. But it does need to marinate a bit. And you need a nice marinade, don't you? That's always important. And first of all, just some ginger. Now, I searched through the ginger box at the local greengrocer. I don't know whether he was too happy with me, but I found this young ginger right down the bottom. It's absolutely beautiful. So just grate that. If it's really old, it'll take a bit more grating. But it's a shame, you know. Certain times of the year, you know, you find this young ginger and it's just absolutely beautiful. You almost eat it by itself. Now you're being silly, Ian. And then a couple of nice plump cloves of garlic, a few tablespoons of soy, accurately measured, half a cup of pineapple juice. This is teriyaki chicken that I'm doing, by the way. I didn't tell you that, did I? Oh, sorry, guys. About a tablespoon of just veggie oil, just 1 tablespoon, not too much oil because it'll take over. Also, a few splashes of hot sauce. Any hot sauce. What's this? Oh, there's Kataya Fire, which is, of course, my favourite because it's from New Zealand, isn't it? And some freshly ground pepper, quite a bit of that, and just whiz it up. And I've got 1 chicken thigh fillet, which you can buy from any poulterer. And actually most supermarkets have them these days. And I'm just going to put that in there, and I'm going to toss it around a couple of times. And then, as I said to you, I'm going to leave that. I'll just leave that for half an hour, 3/4 an hour, something like that. You can put it in the fridge, obviously. But the other thing that I'm going to make now is I'm going to make a nice little salad, because I am doing this a bit like a pokey, because I'm doing some rice on the bottom and then I'm going to do the chicken and a few other little bits and pieces. And one of the bits and pieces that I'm doing is I'm going to do a nice little cucumber salad. First of all, some sesame oil. Now, not too much sesame oil because that can take over. You know, I tried to cook something when I first started. 400 years ago. I'll just add some rice wine vinegar in there, and I'll add a little bit of caster sugar. Not too much. Anyway, what I was going to start to say was that I actually decided I was going to cook something in sesame oil, and I put a whole layer in the pan. The whole house smelt of sesame oil for about 3 months. So do keep in mind that it's actually quite a strong little thing. And just taste this. Good, it's good. I want something a little bit tart, and to that I'm then going to add just some finely sliced radishes. Not too much, because this is only for 1, remember. Of course you can double it. You can double all these things and do it for 2, we know that. I just find it harder to cut back. You know, if you start off with a recipe for 4, it doesn't necessarily work that you then just divide it by 4, you see. So I find it harder to cut back than to add. Did that make any sense? I hope so, guys. I'm sure if it didn't, you'll send me an email and say, Huey, you made no sense whatsoever, which is quite possible. So some cucumber. You can add some other things if you like. Some spring onions would be nice in this, but nah, I don't need it. I just think the cucumber and radish, and then we will throw that in that. Now you can add a little bit of oil to it if you like. I don't think it hurts, not too much. When I say oil, I meant plain vegetable oil as well. And you can also add some pepper and some salt. And we will put that aside too for that half hour. So it's sort of like a real simple sesame flavoured pickle, isn't it? I think it'd be all right already. It is all right already. All right, we'll be back in about half an hour. Just turn that chicken over every now and then, and we'll be back in half an hour, and we'll finish this off. All right, we're looking rather good. I feel like I'm in a sauna here, don't I? I've got my chicken going, and that's about right, actually. What we need to do is cook a bit of rice. I've got my chicken there. I've got my pineapple here. Now, what's the name of that show, My Kitchen Rules? They were complaining about them using pineapple in a salsa. I think it's wonderful. I mean, I don't want fruit with everything. You remember in the old days in Queensland, you always knew you were in Queensland because you got a plate and it was piled high with fruit on top of your steak and things like that. I don't want that. I'm not saying I want that. But, you know, some grilled pineapple in a salsa or on this dish, absolutely beautiful. So guys, you don't know what you're talking about. Actually, I didn't know what the dish was like, so I can't complain, can I? Might have been an awful dish. Right, so we've got some peanut oil in there. You can use just straight veggie oil, particularly if you're allergic. Don't cook it too fast unless you're a wonderful, experienced Asian chef and they cook it at 100 miles an hour. If I try to do that, I burn everything. The ginger and garlic. So I've got a julienne and ginger there, and I've got some garlic in there as well. And I've got some Chinese sausage to go in there. Now that's the Chinese sausage, you just blanch that. You buy that any Chinese grocer, but it needs to be blanched first. And then I've just chopped that up. And I'll just grab my Chinese wine, which I'm going to throw in there as well. Just cook that down. And I have got some cooked rice just here, which I'm going to add it in once that wine has reduced. Right, and just separate it. I cooked it and then I cooled it on a, what should you say, on a tray, so that's nice and separate, which it is. So just toss that around. I've got some spring onions to go in there, quite a lot. And I've also got some soy to go in there as well. Not too much soy, you know, because you get a bit excited with it and it takes over, doesn't it? It says here you love soy. Let's just grab a bowl. Right, so we put the rice in here. I'll put some oil in here because I'm actually going to cook an egg, which goes on the top here. Right, keep an eye on that. Now, let's start thinking about what we're doing here. So we've got some pineapple there. We've got some nice sprigs of coriander there. Right, let's just plop an egg in here. Now I want it the Chinese way, so I want it a little crispy around the edges, all right? So that's what I'm after. My cucumber and radish salad. I've also got some pickles here, some radish and carrot pickles. Oh, that's looking rather good, isn't it? I shouldn't sound so surprised, should I? I've got a little space there for my egg. Yeah, there we go. And guys, my Henhouse bowl, which is a perfect meal. Look at that. I'm pretty pleased with that. Now, we need a wine to go with it. Now, what I've got there is a very good quality New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, Branket Estate. Now, it's a funny story, actually. Wonderful wine writer called Philip White from South Australia. Now, his editor said to him, I want you to match a wine this week with a ham and pineapple pizza. Now, I have to say to you, Philip wasn't too keen on this idea, so I think sarcastically, he did a very cheap New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc to go with it. And afterwards he said, that wasn't a bad match at all, really. Now, that said, I don't mind a pineapple and ham pizza as long as the pineapple is fresh and the ham is off the bone. But the point of the story is that a classy Sauvignon Blanc really will go rather well with this Henhouse bowl. All right, enjoy yourself.